the basic subject of the report, really what I tried to address and was an evaluation of the AWMS injection well, the seismicity of that well, its operation, a correlation to another well, and recommendations regarding the plan that they submitted and the action taken by the state.
And we'll talk more about this other well you mentioned, but for the record, what is the other well that you referred to?
It's the Long Run well in Washington County.
Okay. What type of well is that?
It's a Class 2 injection well.
And what is a Class 2 injection?
In the underground injection control program, the federal rules set up a series of different types of injection wells. So Class 1 injection wells are hazardous industrial or municipal waste. So the state of Ohio has commercial hazardous waste injection wells that inject into the Mount Simon. But the state of Florida has municipal injection wells, for instance. But those are unrelated really to oil and gas and do not take oil and gas exempt waste. Class 2 injection wells are those for enhanced oil recovery, so water flooding, disposal of produced water and approved fluids, and gas storage, all exempt under RCRA. Class 3 is solution mining wells. Ohio also has Class 3 injection wells. Class 4 would be hazardous waste injection into a underground source of drinking water. Those are typically only used as part of, say, a Superfund cleanup. And then Class 5 and 6 are really a hodgepodge of other wells, including CO2 storage. I've permitted classes 1 through 5 wells and assisted with Class 6 wells.
So the Long Run is a Class 2 injection well.
Yes, sir.
And the AWMS well, is that also a Class 2 injection well?
Yes, sir.
Generally, what is induced seismicity?
Induced seismicity, very generally, would be some sort of seismic event that is induced from a particular activity. So, for instance, hydraulic fracturing causes seismicity. When it breaks the rock down in the producing formation in Ohio, that's the Utica Point Pleasant. So those are creating very small seismic events, microseismic events. But seismic events could also be, what we're looking at in this particular case, but there's also been other events corresponding with the construction of dams for reservoirs and so forth.
Can microseismic events be monitored?
Yes, sir.
And how are they monitored?
They can really be monitored a few different ways. There's in the state of Ohio and around the country, there's a seismic monitoring network, and certainly that network can monitor events or potential events, whether induced seismic events or naturally occurring seismic events. You can also install specific monitors, which AWMS has. Furthermore, you can also use ground motion sensors to correlate surface ground movement to an event similar to what the mines program does.
When I mentioned a microseismic event, would the events that occurred at the AWMS well be considered microseismic events?
Yes.
And you also mentioned that the AWMS well has seismic monitors in place. Are you familiar with those monitors?
I am.
can you just generally briefly describe those monitors?
The monitors that that AWMS has are really, you know, relatively shallow surface monitors attempting to pick up seismic events. Really probably above a zero seismic magnitude. So, you know, there's a variety of ways to place seismic monitors. You can put them in deep wells in the earth. You know, these are relatively shallow, but they're but AWMS used a contractor that the ODNR also used in a similar set of geophones and data loggers and so forth that can be that can allow continuous monitoring on a 24/7 basis. And the system is set up so that if there's a particular event threshold that you set, you'll get an email notifying you of that event.
Before we get into some of your conclusions and your